Welcome, AIME members, to today's Brokers Are Better live announcement of what I'm really excited about. But we're going to announce the first of our 6 new member committees empowering AIME membership. So today we will be highlighting the formation of AIME's Government Affairs Committee. I'm Mark Summers. I'm the president of AIME. Today I'm being joined by the president of Broker Advocacy, Brendan McKay, as well as Government Affairs Committee members Corrina and Melinda Payan. Guys, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, Mark.
Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
You know, you guys give up a lot of time by doing this. I'm really excited. I can tell all of our members right now that the strides that we have made within the first two and a half months that we've been having our meetings, we have monthly meetings, if not a little bit more. We have made great strides, and our membership, I'm telling you, you're going to see big changes here. As we've said, we've hired a lobbyist. We have a few other people that are on this committee, and I just want to thank everyone who's here today to just, for all the time that you give. It's been great, and we're making big strides here. So just want to tell you thank you on that. So we're talking about the introduction of this. So this Government Affairs Committee team is having monthly meetings. We provide legislative updates. We work closely with the lobbyists. We discuss regulatory topics, hot topics, buzz topics. AMCs have been a big one as of recent, and we're tackling that, trying to figure out the best way that it's going to help our community. And listen, at the end of the day, we're here to support you, and we're here to protect. We always talk about the 3 pillars of AIME, and one of them is protection, and this Government Affairs Committee is here for us. So if we can, and Melinda, I'll start out with you. If you can just briefly tell us why you decided to join and why you're passionate about this committee.
Absolutely. So consumer advocacy has always been one of the most important things to me over the years that I've been a broker. And one of the things that I find really the most rewarding through this business, to be quite honest with you, I always have felt that mortgage brokers have always had that more on the forefront than anybody else in the industry. And it's just been really a burning desire of mine to not just be able to help the consumers achieve what they want to achieve, but also to really educate them and give them the best possible options. So anything that we can do to improve that and to help consumers is really important to me.
That's awesome, and I know you're a big part of this. You've always been, part of the always had the government on your mind and how you protect consumers, which is great, and I've always said that, when it comes to this government affairs, we're not on a level playing field right now when it comes to the big banks, but we're getting there. So, Corrina, if you can tell us why you wanted to join this committee.
Sure, absolutely, Mark, and thank you for having me. I would like to say I wanted everybody to know that they could have a voice. So what does that voice look like? It doesn't always have to be the loudest voice in the room, and it doesn't have to be the quietest. We always kind of say when things are passed or legislations go, it's why didn't we have a voice in that? So I've been to DC, I've been to the Hill, I've been in some of the conversations before AIME, and I just felt like that voice wasn't loud enough. Now with our members and our community being so tight and us helping each other, I believe that we could all bring a louder voice without being too obnoxious, right, Brendan? and really take it seriously, because we want to make sure that the brokers know that, one, we're here for them, and 2 is they can voice their opinions and tell us what is important to them.
That's absolutely perfect, and that's a great way to say it. I would say everyone on this panel right now, along with one of our other committee members, John Councilman, who's not here with us today, we're all approachable people. Corrina, that's a great point, that we're all ears that can listen. So, Brendan, new president of Broker Advocacy for AIME, tell us why you wanted to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Mark. I'm super stoked, and I'm excited to be here because this stuff is important. It's really important. And as far as like where the direction of our industry and brokers' place in our industry, this is the type of stuff that's going to mold it. And frankly, it's where we were completely hung out to dry in 2008. We did not have the right kind of advocacy and representation that we should. And frankly, we don't have it now either. And that's what this is for. We're gonna get it. We are 11,000 strong. We have the numbers, and it's time to get organized and start doing something with it. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm like, I couldn't be more excited to be on the ground floor of it. So here we go.
Exactly. Here we go. So yeah, no, and for the longest time before this association, we didn't have a common voice. I mean, so many great mortgage brokers out there and loan originators, but we never were bonded together. And I really think, with this association, this government affairs team, we're gonna really band together. And one of the things I always talk about is having a seat at the table, right? So that's, as Brendan just said, that's why we're here. We're gonna try to have a seat at the table. We're letting our government know that we are what's best for consumer. And I think that's the number one thing we always have to remember is that mortgage brokers are best for consumers. There's facts that we give lower closing costs, cheaper rates, and better service. Yeah. So with that being said, our goal is to get a seat at the table, and we're going to do it. I mean, at the end of the day, we're going to do that. We've already made great strides. So let's start here. Corrina, why don't I start with you? What issues do you feel, that we need to attack first on the legislative side of things?
Well, we've been talking in our committee. I've listened to a lot more webinars, podcasts, information. We've really been talking about the appraisal issues. What's going to be coming down for that? I think that's one of the number one things. And then the biggest thing too, Mark, is just knowing that we actually have a seat at the table. How can we just be a part of everything that is going on and having our voices heard? So the appraisal issues, I think, are number one coming down the pipe, what that's going to look like. I think just being on the committee, knowing we have a committee, and knowing that everybody's voices can be heard and that we're actually going to listen to what is going on and how that's going to change our community.
No, that's perfect. Yeah, the AMC thing is a big thing right now. I can't tell you how many emails we've been passing along to each other about it. There's no right answer right now, but we're looking for it, and I think that we're in the right direction. So, Brendan, what are some issues you think that we, from a wholesale channel side, that we need to attack and take a look at?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm going to repeat appraisal and AMC over and over again, because just to make it very clear to everybody listening, we're aware it's the number one hot topic, and we are absolutely working on it, and we're listening, and we're doing stuff about it. Other stuff, there's kind of two different categories. Like the biggest one we're regularly going to fight for is just to be on the same playing field. A lot of times it's like, industry advocacy, we're going to be tearing down regulation, tearing it down. And there might be some of that, but a lot of it's just going to be, we just want to be on an equal playing field with the banks and lenders with some of this stuff. Whether it's comp rules or different things like that. And the AMC is certainly part of it, being on the same playing field. And just having equal footing when it comes to legislative stuff. Because as we know, when Dodd-Frank was written, a lot of the regulation only applied to us and not to everybody else.
Yeah.
So conversations like that, builders, we're talking about, builders essentially steering to their preferred lenders. And that's something that frankly impacts brokers. It impacts some lenders too, especially smaller ones. But and there might be some stuff that we're actually on the same side as lenders with. There's going to be plenty of stuff that we're not on the same side with them on. But on the stuff that we're on the same team about, why can't we fight together on it? So that's what we're going to be looking to do.
Yeah, Brendan, I love what you said there, because when I do my little presentations, I say, when you talk about just being on a level playing field, some banks and lenders are here and we're still crushing it. Can you imagine if we can just be on a level playing field? And I think that's a great point that you made right there. So, Melinda.
Yes.
What issues you want to see us attack, or what issues you think is best for the wholesale channel right now to attack?
Well, I definitely agree with Corrina and Brendan in reference to the appraisals being a big problem. That is definitely our number one hot topic right this second, because there is such a disparity between what we're experiencing and what other people in the industry, other types of professionals in the industry are experiencing. But I'd also like to see something done with the 3% rule. I think that there's a big demand there in reference to the lower loan amounts. I think there is an issue in reference to how it affects some of the lower loan amounts. I know that there's been some changes and proposals and things that we've seen, but I think overall we still need to see something change in reference to that, and ultimately some type of fair thing across the line in reference to the processing fee and it being counted in our 3%. I think that's also something that I'd like to look at down the road as well.
Well, guys, tell me, and I'll just leave this open for discussion. How do you think we fix these issues? I mean, I know for me, and this is why we have these conversations, the AMC is the hot button, and we shot some emails around about this. I just don't think AMCs are going away. a lot of people want these AMCs to go away, but if you look at the design of them, they were there to protect who? The consumer and the industry. So I don't think we can't come in and just tear down everything and develop anything we want. We got to work with it and adjust it. So, open forum here. How do you guys think we can do this?
I don't know. We're going to figure it out together, though, right? But I do think there's some realities that everyone kind of needs to acknowledge. Yes, we recognize the current situation with the AMCs is an issue, but first of all, it's not completely a broker issue only. Like, there are some logistical problems with even larger lenders nationwide have to use AMCs. An appraisal board isn't something that is very easily replicated in every single different pocket of the country. And I'm only bringing that up to just be like, yes, we know it's a problem, but just saying burn it all down is not a reasonable solution. And then what? Because whatever we're going to replace it with is going to take a lot of work to do it, and we need a lot of good ideas, and we need to start putting it in place. And there might be some short-term solutions as well. And I personally, I think one of those short-term solutions is increasing the price of appraisals, which might not be something a lot of you guys want to hear. But it is going to solve some of the issues that appraisers in particular are having with AMCs. But this is really what we're doing. And I'm not saying anything I just said is factually correct. I'm not dead certain on anything on what the best solution is. But we have 11,000 of us and a lot of smart people to start figuring it out, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, and we're all open ears here. So please let us know your thoughts on it. I will say our lobbyist is really intelligent about this stuff, and he's giving us some ideas. And John Councilman, who's also part of this affairs team, he's been deep with these AMCs and appraisal boards with the government. So he's got a ton of insight on it, and I know we're compiling ideas. So Corrina and Melinda, do you guys have any thoughts on that?
I think for one on the appraisal issues is having more open conversations without really pointing the fingers. So like we were reaching out in a particular area this week that we're having a hard time getting an appraisal accepted. And we called 3 local people and they were like, oh, well, if we'd known it was for you, Corrina, we might have accepted it. So it's not because it's me, Corrina, but it's because they know we do good business. They know we aren't going to hound them. There's just certain things that just having other conversations instead of pointing the finger of how can we talk to them, like Brenda said, the roof isn't going to come down on the AMCs. So how can we have these conversations with the AMCs and say, hey, how can we reach out, get these pool of people together, understand who they're doing business with, instead of also saying the appraisers may not like who they're working with, and they should then come off those panels of the AMC. So it's kind of like twofold. These conversations really internally, I think, are starting to happen, but not all the way. So how can we get involved with that a little bit more than just really pointing the fingers to as well?
Yes, and I know that this affairs team here, everyone a part of it, we're deeply trying to get meetings. I know there's been a few dates sent around for a possible meeting. So yeah, we're working on it. We're doing everything we can. So Melinda, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, so it's completely unrealistic to think that we're ever getting rid of the AMCs. I just don't think that that's going to happen in an easy way. I think that what we have to do is push for parameters of what the AMCs need to work within and what the consumers have to experience. I think we need to give specific examples of why a borrower paid $700 more for an appraisal with an AMC versus, for example, maybe another type of lender, or the turnaround time difference, or the cost of the lock extension, or the cost of losing the transaction, even worse. I think we have to give specific examples of why this is hurting the consumer. And then we need to give examples of what parameters exactly we want in place, timeframes, the variance and the cost that it could go. I mean, there are really very specific problems we're having that relate to the cost and the timing. And those are the 2 big problems. And those things need to have specific parameters set up so that the end result is not the consumer being punished by this, which is not what this intended to be. This was intended to assist or help or protect the consumer. And now we're in a reverse situation, and they need to understand why it is not protecting or helping. It's actually hurting the consumer. And what could we explain to them, or what could we say to them of, hey, these parameters need to be met, or XYZ needs to happen, and we need to have a backup option of if these parameters are not met, is what I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and these are the type of discussions that we're having, constantly, whether it's via email, whether it's through our meetings, and I just want to let all of our members know as well, like, this is the hot topic. That's probably why we're talking about it so much right now. But
Yeah.
the list of things that we are talking about, I mean, every time I get asked, well, what are you guys working on? I'm like, there's so many things that we can work
Yeah.
on, but we also have to understand we can't go in with a bazooka and try to blow everything up. We got to put soft footprints in and really get a seat at that table and know that we're intelligent with what we're talking about. And this government affairs team is doing a great job with it. So people are probably going to wonder how Government Affairs Council will help brokers. So we're going to give regular updates throughout the year about the proactive steps that we're taking and how the legislative arena is unfolding and what we're doing to try to get a seat at that table and what we're doing to win. I promise you that, with the year ahead, we're going to be ensuring brokers that we're keeping you updated and we're moving forward trying to protect the broker channel. So Brendan, I know you've been a big part of a lot of this stuff. Tell me some wins that this government affairs team has already had.
Yeah, so in addition to just getting organized, we wrote a letter to soon-to-be outgoing FHFA Director Calabria on the QM rule that was getting rolled out and is now delayed into October and might see further delays. We'll see. There were definitely some problems with it, and there's some stuff going on with it right now with lenders implementing it early, and we'll kind of see what happens. And certainly going to be on top of that. Our position statements submitted regularly to all the regulatory committees, FHFA and CFPB. We're working on getting a meeting with CFPB right now. We're also have congressional visits to the AIME office in the works with key decision makers influencing housing policy, as well as, I don't know, Mark and I might be getting dragged to South Carolina in a couple months or something like that as well. We'll see about that, Mark. But there's a lot of stuff happening. I mean, the bottom line is we're 11,000 strong. We are housing, and politicians care about housing. And there's a lot of us, and we are on the ground floor of a topic that they want to hear about. And it has not been very difficult to get their attention. So that's the kind of stuff we're going to be doing.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, no, we've already had some great wins so far, and we're just going to make them bigger and better. So probably the next question and last thing that we'll talk about here is how AIME members can get involved. We have a great community, and I get asked all the time, well, how can I get involved? If you need help, let me know. So we're going to be increasing our government relations activities, and we're going to be asking members for their opinions, and we're going to ask you to reach out to your elected officials for certain things, whether it's a letter to be signed or just make the appropriate call to action. So we'll keep you updated on that. But at the same time, listen, at the end of the day, we are here. We have great ears. We're all more than willing to listen. Just schedule a time with us. You may like, Corrina better than you like me, and that's fine. I get it, but give her a call and she'll listen, or it's all good. So yeah, why don't you guys tell us some other ways that our members can get involved?
Mark, I like the words soft footprints, but I'm okay if you come with some firm footprints and bring me some ideas of what it really impacts your life in our broker community. And just talk to us. I mean, really give us some ideas of what concerns each person has and what they really think is their number 1-2 pain points and what it looks like to them. Mine may be different than Melinda's.
Right.
Absolutely. I know that we see a lot of things mentioned in the various social media platforms that we're members of. A few things out there, for example, builders. I know we see that as a big complaint as well. And anybody can certainly approach me or anybody else on this committee to give us any type of information of what they would like to see. And we're always there. Our door is always open for sure.
Yeah. And just to reiterate it, I mean, it sounds like Corrina wants all the angry people going to her. So you're welcome to go to Corrina.
Good idea.
If you're really mad. And I want to hear it too, but like I do. And I say this all the time in more general stuff about the way that we communicate with each other and being respectful even when you disagree with each other. But I recognize that this committee isn't exactly talking about, marketing and community involvement and different stuff like that, which is blatantly important, but less charged. So when you're coming with this stuff, we want to hear the problems, and we know that you're upset about it. But keep in mind, that we're here to help in the logistics behind it. And I'm not saying you're necessarily going to yell at us, but the burn it all down attitude, if you feel that way, let's hear it. But like, that's difficult stuff to get done. And might not always be in our best interest. So we don't just want to hear problems, although we definitely want to hear problems, especially if they're a unique one. But we want to hear solutions as well. So if you just have a problem and not a way to fix it, like I want to hear about it, but I definitely want to hear, the second half of it as well if you got it. So, put your voice out there, let it be heard. This committee is going to be posting plenty of regular updates. Those threads are going to be great places to make your voices heard. Fuse is also going to be a fantastic place to do it. I hope Katie doesn't get mad at me for having a little sneak preview for some of it, but there's going to be breakout sessions for a lot of the committees at Fuse. So if you want to get involved in person, that would be a fantastic place to do it. So get your Fuse ticket. There you go.
Can I say one last thing? Oh, sorry, Mark.
Of course. No, the floor is yours. You go.
Just as far as that goes with Melinda, tag team with us too, because important things to you may not be important with others, but we can't get them done unless we're all together. So the builder thing is not a huge thing in my area anymore. We can't build on water anymore. In 2005, 2006, I was on a lot of legislation committees like this for building and for preferred lenders. Right now, I don't know that I have a huge interest in that topic. It doesn't affect my area, but I'm going to tag team on Melinda, and we've talked about it in the committee because it's such a huge problem and disparity, and I've even been involved in people, suing builders over it. So I still want to be involved. It's not a huge problem in my area right now, but again, we need to tag team with each other on what those issues are as well, and just not say, hey, it doesn't affect me.
No, I couldn't agree more. And to be honest, the appraisal issue is not impacting me as much as it is many other people. I'm really fortunate to be in a very dense market. I would like it to be better, and I recognize it's a larger issue, so I'm happy to push on it. But the builder one is, it very much is. As I'm in the DC metropolitan area, and as people are able to start working more remote, and it's getting more and more sprawled. There's tons of stuff being built around here. And I'll tell you right now, all the things that we hate about the current setup with builders and their preferred lenders or their in-house lenders, that all almost changed 15 or 20 years ago. It came very close to changing. So it's possible. That is something that I do think we can change. I don't think it's going to be easy. They don't, there's a very large association with a lot of money on the other side of things that doesn't want it to happen. But I do think it's possible. And that I am going to throw in here one aside on it. And one of the problems that brokers have had issues historically in the legislative arena is, sadly, on some of this stuff, it takes money to change stuff. And brokers, right, well, a lot of us are small business owners, okay? And if you just compare us to MBA, to the Lenders Association, they are very large. So when people on those boards or on those committees are writing checks, whether it's to a PAC, which we don't have, but or to other different things, they're just stroking a check out of an expense book. Where when I'm stroking a check for something like this, it's coming out of my business account, which might as well be coming out of my checking account. And I realize that is a much harder thing to do. But, it's important. And a lot of us get paid more because of it. So I implore all our members that are watching this to keep that in mind. We're not asking you to open your checkbooks just yet, but that day may come. And it is very much one of the reasons that we were disadvantaged in 2008. And if we're not going to be in that position again, that might be one thing that's going to have to change.
Yeah,
Go on. I'm sorry, Mark. I didn't mean to interrupt. One thing I just want to interject is that for everybody who's watching this to remember is that we are just like you guys. We're originating. We're out there. We're producing. We're feeling the pains that you may or may not feel, but we are not doing this because of any other reason other than we want to make a change in the industry. We all have every single hour and minute of our day scheduled to the T, just like everybody else out there, plus some. But this is really important to us to be able to step up and say, okay, let me try to make a change in the industry. Let me try to do something to help the industry and, as a result, help consumers. So just make sure that, we're extremely approachable. And if there's something that you're going through that we may not be going through, just like Corrina said, we're here to listen. And for example, the builders thing, it may not be a big issue in South Florida, but in Northern Florida, it is an issue. It just depends on the different areas. There's a lot of things that we will see happening in different parts of the country. For example, I would love to see if we even got involved with some kind of the state legislator stuff, because in the state of Florida, there's been a recent change in reference to insurance rates where there used to be protection for consumers. I don't know what we could do on the state side, but we could look into stuff like that and see what we can do, because right now there's, probably a 7-year-old lady that just got an insurance bill that doubled in 1 year because of this change. And so there's a lot of things that are individual to each state that perhaps we can all discuss how we can try to assist even on the state level. I don't know, but that's something to think about as well.
All phenomenal, great points, guys. And also to everyone listening, if you want updates or if you have ideas, you can also email us at info@aimegroup.com. More than happy to, trust me, it gets to many people that can definitely listen. So everyone here right now, thank you for your time. I truly appreciate it. I love our Zoom calls because they're fun, they're intuitive, they're educational. That's another great thing about this government affairs team, is that we're going to educate people about a lot of things on the back end, which is another huge step. So thanks everyone for being a part of this, not joining me, but being a part of this. So thanks everyone. And
Thank you.
Yeah. And then AIME's going to continue to be unveiling more details about the remaining 5-member committees in weeks ahead, leading up to National Mortgage Brokers Day, which is July 18th. So please mark your calendar for that one. So each committee will be responsible for hot topics vital to maintaining the wholesale channel. And we're on an impressive growth trajectory, and we want to keep this movement going. So we're going to keep you updated. And the association is excited to announce the establishment of these 6 committees, made up of the most vital assets, AIME members, to bring even greater change to things that matter most to independent mortgage brokers, which is everyone listening right now, which is our peers. So thank you, and don't forget, brokers are better. And to you 3, always love being on a Zoom call with you guys, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.